Welcome to another episode of Life and Whiskey. As always, I'm Jordan, and this is video number 2 of Budget Whiskey. In this episode, we're going to be looking at Canadian whiskeys. As I said in video number 1, I did not purchase all the Canadian whiskeys I could find. I was a little bit selective in the ones that I did grab. I did only grab 3 of them, and yeah, well, we'll see what we can do with them. I don't know. Most people use Canadian whiskey as a mixer. I've done that as well. First one up is going to be Rich and Rare Reserve, R&R Reserve. Um, and this I used as a daily drinker for a long time. It worked out really well when I wanted like a whiskey and water or it doesn't hold up so well on the rocks, but if you drink a whiskey and water, or if you put in a mixed drink, it's pretty decent. When I got married, we had it as our general mixer whiskey at our wedding, and in our family, we had people who are dedicated Jack Daniel's drinkers who said, "Hey, that's not so bad at all." And when I say dedicated, I mean that's the only thing that they would drink. Um, Other people, other friends of ours, they really enjoyed it as well, and we kind of opened some people's eyes to stuff. So hopefully, in this go round, I can give some notes out there that maybe might get you to think about getting that as well. Like I said before, when I lived in Casper, I was able to get it for $7.48 on sale. Normally it's like 9 and change. I got it here in town for $9.29. So this will be the Rich and Rare Reserve. That's the first one we're going to be drinking. We will transition into Lord Calvert Black. Now, I didn't get the regular Lord Calvert just because this was fancier, and it was only $9.79. I think the actual regular Lord Calvert was like $7 or $8. So it was almost the same price, and so I elected to go for the fancier one. The final one we are going to review is the Northern Lights. And the funny thing about this whiskey, it's the cheapest whiskey that I picked up for this entire budget whiskey episode. This was $5.49. The only thing that was close to that was the Lauders Scotch that I did in the last episode at $6.89. But this beats that by $1.40. Okay, now this is cheaper than a 6-pack. All right, so for all you college kids out there that are all about drinking and all the other stuff that you guys are doing, if you're a budget-minded person, pay attention to the review of this one because out of all the Canadians that I did, this is actually the one that I picked out as the best. Now I was an R&R fan. This one was actually even better, and it's the cheapest whiskey that I picked up. Okay, so if you want a mixer or if you want to just drink it straight up, I highly suggest giving this a try. All right, with that, seems that the storms from the last videos have blown through. Now we still only just got to worry about that COVID junk. But yeah, let's get a little R&R reserve here going. See what we can figure out about this stuff. So I have to admit, on the nose, this smells Canadian. And that's, if you've ever had Canadian whiskey, you would know exactly what I'm saying. It has this alcohol forward, smells like it's going to be harsh, smells like it's going to kind of beat you up a little bit. It's bright and pointy, just in the nose. But if I had to describe it, to me, it smells like alcohol and rubber. Like if you stretch a rubber band and then smell it, that kind of a rubber. So, on the nose, not very inviting. However, I will promise that on the taste, it turns itself around. So, get way in here just a little bit. there's almost no alcohol except for towards the finish. As far as the taste goes, it starts very sweet, slight bit of oil, and a little bit of cling. But it's very sweet, like milk caramels in your mouth. Alcohol's kind of gone. It's very mellow. It's not very bitey or punchy or anything like that. So it's very different than the nose, which is nice. On the finish, though, it goes from this very sweet, moves very fast through like vanilla, caramel, and then it goes into this slightly dry. I guess you'd call it oak. Maybe you will call it alcohol. That peppery alcohol bite at the end. We'll call that the finish. But it's at the very end. But it's a very short profile, so it probably only lasts 5 seconds. So it's like 4 seconds of sweet, and then a dry, slight peppery taste on the end. But I kind of like that. So if there's a whiskey profile that I'm not sitting and really, really enjoying, I want it to be sweet and fast. And that's why I like this whiskey. Now, when you water it down, you add some water to it, it mellows out that bite, and it's like drinking sweet water. Now, that might not sound the most attractive, but it works out pretty good, and it works out really good for mixed drinks. So unlike Crown or any of those other, like if somebody's drinking a Crown and Coke, I highly recommend trying it with R&R Reserve. So there you go. There's R&R Reserve. I made my case for it. That is my go-to mixer for water, anyways. So when I say a mixer, I've made my own mixed drink, right? So I created my own concoction, which I'll do in another video for you guys. I think you guys would really like it. But most of the time, my mixer, for me personally, it's going to be just like whiskey and water. And that's the drink that the R&R Reserve is the one that I go to for my whiskey and water. Other than that, almost all whiskeys that I drink are neat pours, no matter what proof we're sitting at. Again, I should mention all of these Canadian whiskeys are all sitting at 80 proof. Okay, next up on the firing squad, Lord Calvert Black. All right, let's see what Mr. Black has to offer us here. All right, Lord Calvert Black. Makes me feel like I'm kind of stuffed. Stick your nose up in the air a little bit. I mean, look at the bottle. The bottle says you should be drinking it like this. At least if it's a Canadian whiskey. All right. So, again, maybe that's why I don't like Canadian whiskeys, is they're alcohol forward. All I get when I nose this is straight up alcohol and then vanilla extract. That's the smell that's dominant. I can't get past those two things, no matter where I go, to try and get anything else. You might say that there's some brown sugar or caramel or something, but it's just straight up alcohol and vanilla extract. So going in. So the vanilla that you smell comes very forward in the taste. It's oily, it kind of coats your tongue. It's a thin flavor profile where like the actual flavor part of it kind of goes boom, boom, boom. The notes move very, very quick. So it's vanilla and sweet. And I got to go back in for another one to. It is smooth. until the finish, right? So it's that rounded, oily, clingy for the first 3 seconds, maybe. And it's that vanilla and then vanilla extract with an underlying brown sugar sweet caramel. Then it immediately dries out, rolls off the tongue, gets kind of spiky, and has an alcohol burn, and I guess maybe a little bit of oak if you want to say that. Like that dryness is definitely coming probably from an oak tannin, but it just dries out and gets a little punchy. Um, it's kind of thin. Again, we're at 80 proof, and that whole profile just goes, blah, very very short and fast. Um, gonna say it, not a big fan. Not the worst thing I've ever drank. It's not even horrible. I can sit and drink this. It's not the most enjoyable. I would have to mix this in something if I was gonna do it. So if I were going fishing, like I used to do back in the day, and I was sitting on shore for a nice relaxing evening trying to catch the walleye bite post spawn, I would I'd go to Walmart. I would get the Walmart brand generic brand 2-liter bottle of Sprite. And I would mix Lord Calvert with that Sprite in a nice big glass, and I would sit there and catch my walleye. That's what I would do with that whiskey. Um, yeah, it's not the best, not the worst, but Lord Calvert coming in at $9.79. I'm drinking the Rich and Rare Reserve all day. And if that's the black, I don't know I didn't look into what specifies the black versus the regular, but if that's kind of supposed the better one of the two, the not the better one, but the higher release of the two, I'm gonna avoid Lord Calvert. Just saying, not where I'm going. Okay, here we go to the coup de grace of the Canadian world here. The Northern Lights Canadian whiskey. All right, so with this, so straight off the top, this blows the Rich and Rare Reserve out of the water on nose alone. It has a musty, grainy, sweet, almost bread-like characteristic to it. It smells well developed. It just has a couple of sweet notes to it, though I can't really break them down. Maybe brown sugar, maybe? Like brown sugar and grain. So on the nose alone, out of the three, that one definitely has the best nose. Oh my gosh. All right, yeah, that one wins hands down. It is sweet forward, has a vanilla, like shortbread, like hard shortbread, Girl Scout cookie shortbread flavor in there. Kind of this maltiness, a milk caramel. So like homemade caramels from your grandma for Christmas, made with extra heavy cream or something like that. Like a really soft, velvety caramel. It is sweet. These are all sweet notes. It's not sugary sweet though. It's not like taking a handful of brown sugar and eating it. It's just a sweet emphasis on it. Yeah, that one's gonna be the winner. The finish, it's thin, has a just the slightest alcohol burn to it. Um, Slight bit of oak on the back end, but it's mostly that shortbread cookie note dominates throughout the entire profile. But you get that caramel, that sweet vanilla up front, and for $5 and something stupid, 49 cents. You could sit and drink that. You could mix that. You could do anything you wanted with it, not feel guilty, and still probably have the best pick of the Canadians that you could get. Now, I will say this. Out of the budget line, we move up a notch and we get into like Pendleton, as far as Canadians go. The Pendleton and water's pretty good. And actually, what got me hooked on rye whiskey, my buddy did me maybe a service or an injustice. I'm not sure which, but he brought over a bottle of Pendleton 1910, which is their rye whiskey. Um, Needless to say, I didn't make it into work the next day until like 2. And I think I only managed to make it for an hour and stay there. Now I might be the biggest pussy on the face of the planet. I don't know, but it was a rough freaking day the next day. But that 1910 was delicious, and that started me on my trail of rye whiskeys. And yeah. So, anyways, Canadians, Pendleton and water actually goes pretty good together. But you're up above $20 at that point. So if you want to stick under 10 in the budget category, the most budget whiskey I could find, the Northern Lights, it's actually a really good drinking whiskey. So hopefully that does it for our Canadian friends here. And let me know, what are you able to find these for in your area, if you're able to find them at all. I have no idea what the distribution are in our reserve. You should be able to find this pretty much anywhere. Lord Calvert, I'm pretty sure I've seen Lord Calvert pretty much everywhere I've gone. The Northern Lights, this one may or may not be available in your area. I do not know how well it is distributed, but if you can find it, if you want a good mixing drink for a party or for people who don't appreciate whiskey as much, I'm going to point you that direction. As always, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Leave your comments below. Please like and subscribe the videos, or dislike it, or whatever you want. But please subscribe to the channel. I'm hoping that I can grow this a bit. Drop in the comments the prices that you are finding in your area. And I just want to thank you guys so much for watching these videos. And I hope you guys are staying safe out there, and you and your loved ones are staying safe and healthy. And we'll catch you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.